DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, and Monster Energy.
The day of reckoning has arrived as it's elimination day here at DreamHack Open Summer. Today, 3 more teams will have their run cut short as only half of today's squads can live to fight another day. It's time to get cutthroat, and it begins over in EU with the likes of Heroic, Endpoint, OG, and Force all at risk of elimination. With so much on the line, today is shaping up to be something special, and I cannot wait to get delving right into it. My name is Freya, your host for the duration of the day. And of course, joining me, my wonderful host of analysts, Eden and Potter. Blair, you've had a few days off, haven't you? What have you been up to during that time?
I like how I'm Maui Snake now. I am Maui Snake now in the overlay. But apart from calling out production for mistakes in my Twitter handle, it's been great. Past couple of days just chilling, watching the games. I kind of missed being on the panel talking about the game. So we saw some pretty fun matchups.
We missed you too, Blair. We missed you too. Potter, you haven't been away for any of the games, though. And I feel like it's going to be quite heartbreaking today because we're losing half of our teams, aren't we?
We are, and especially because it's going to be either Endpoint, Heroic. I can't believe we're saying goodbye to these teams. I thought, as I said yesterday, Endpoint, a surprise that they've made it this far. But as we go deeper and deeper into the tournament, we're starting to see the real identity of these teams after that long player break. So today's going to be an explosive day.
It is indeed, but yesterday was equally as explosive, really. And Potter, I'm coming to you to see what your highlight was from that crazy day of games.
It's got to be Poison. Poison on Complexity. We saw Complexity going up against OG. This was toe for toe, but Poison on this Mirage, they're down right now. And Poison makes this window jump look so stylish. And it's really his reaction after this first kill that I like so much. He goes for more, he stands his ground, and he's rewarded with that 3K. But take a look at Blame F. He's his insurance plan. Poison doesn't need to be so nervous because Blame F, he's got his back. And actually, this was such a good read for Complexity in that round. They actually did a B stack. We've got 3 defenders towards that B, and they just shut down this mid-split. So really, this was such a good look for Complexity yesterday.
It really was. They were super impressive yesterday, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they'll be bringing to the competition. But of course, none of that would be possible without our wonderful sponsors, Monster Energy, Corsair, and Intel. Thank you so much for helping make DreamHack Open Summer happen. But with that, I think it's time to get this show on the road, and we're going to be starting with our topic of the day. And this one is quite a tricky one. We're talking about changes that we want to be implemented in the Counter-Strike world. So Blair, I'm coming to you. If you had one wish, if you're praying to Lord Gaben, what would it be?
The economy. Fix it. Fix the economy. That's all I have to say. Listen, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the old system of money. I understand why that was changed, but not a fan of the new system either. I feel there's a very good middle path available out there if Volvo would please fix.
But the real question is, what do the players think? And funnily enough, we had a chance to check in with some of them, so let's see what they think.
I think the one thing CS doesn't really have is like a way for casual people to sort of get into it, because it's not a very casual friendly game, I'd say. Like the mechanics are, but I think a lot more could be done in terms of from Valve to introduce people to the competitive side of the game, because like the matchmaking options are quite old right now, and people are having to use like Faceit, ESEA and stuff to play games. So I think something like that would be beneficial for the game, but I just don't know how they would go about it.
Yeah, I don't think there will be any game close to Counter-Strike. Never in esports. That's one thing. But I think Counter-Strike could be even better if we got a better matchmaking system like Dota got. Even Valorant have a better system than CS right now. So I think it depends on the matchmaking system. If Counter-Strike wanted to make it even better, they could do it from one day to another. So that's up to them, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me personally, CS is in like a good shape right now. I don't see any other games like getting the tournaments and championships like things away. But as a player, maybe just the maps should like change a little bit, because we have Vertigo now, but they just it's kind of a while since they like fixed the whole map. They're not gonna update it anymore. I think that's the only missing part, because like the state of the game, the mechanics is not gonna change. But I think that's something they could like add something different like to the scene.
Like for example in Dota, I can see they have update every 1 hour or every 2 hours, but in CS we are getting it from week to week. And same Valorant, they are updating as much as they can, right? So they have to be competitive, and they need to look forward how to keep community of CS growing and growing, not losing people.
Issa wants more updates, Valve. You heard it here first. But moving swiftly on to our topic of the day. And this time, it comes from none other than Stewie2K. So let's take a look at what he had to say.
I think my best tip for an aspiring pro is that you have to, first of all, be realistic with yourself. I just think you can't be lying to yourself. You know, if you really believe that you have the skill to become a professional player, then if that's locked in your head, then I'd say go for it. You know, you have to be really dedicated, you have to be confident, you know, and you have to have a strong mentality. And I think those things will lead you a long way, because down the line there will be people that think you're not good enough, or, you know, kind of beat you down. So I think having a good mentality or a strong mentality will save you from that. You know, if you really believe that you can do it, I say just go for it. You know, you gotta put dedication into it, put a lot of hard work. It's gonna be countless amount of hours, but you know, if you make it, it's gonna be worth it in the end.
I don't think there's anybody better than Stewie2K to give that advice. I remember when he first joined Cloud9, he faced so much adversity, didn't he, Christine? And he really had to put his head down and just prove the haters wrong.
He did. Stewie's storyline is so incredible. Just the age that he was when he came into the scene. He was an FPL, a making of FPL, and nobody had faith in him. But Cloud9 gave him the opportunity, and did he rise to that occasion?
He did indeed, and lift a major trophy, no less. Stewie2K has definitely proved all those haters wrong. But as we edge ever closer to our first game starting, I think it's time that we take a look at our brackets to see exactly what today is shaping up. To give us, obviously, our first game of the day, it's going to be Endpoint versus Heroic. Heroic landing themselves in this decided matchup after a loss against Big. Obviously, Big moving straight on to those semi-finals. And unfortunately, looking back at the lower bracket, Mad Lions, they got out straight away. Unfortunate for them, but you know what? With a roster change, maybe not too unexpected. Then moving over to Group B, our second matchup of the day, it's going to be OG versus Force. And this is going to be a big one. Blair, I know you're pretty hyped to see Force get into the server.
Yeah, to see it, of course, who have been struggling before coming to this event. They seem to have kind of conquered their ghost, so to speak, taking down the team spirit, which was a very impressive showing from them. And OG, they've looked good. The thing is, Complexity just seem like the better team right now, but OG have looked solid as well. So Force to face off against OG would be, that's a pretty tasty prospect for us.
It's going to be very tasty indeed. And then moving over to Group B NA, this is going to be our final game to round off this beautiful day. And you know what? I am so excited for this one. We saw Team 1 yesterday against Furia, taking a map off them. Everybody predicted, you know, this is going to be a 2-0. No, Team 1 totally stood up. And it's going to be a rematch, isn't it, Christine, against Cloud9?
Yes, rematch. Cloud9 get to have some revenge, and Team 1 get to make another statement once again. And you're right, Freya. Yesterday, Team 1 taking that map off Mirage and off such a huge landslide of a scoreline. So certainly, Team 1, they've got to be feeling confident coming into that series.
They are indeed. They are not down and out just yet. But of course, that will be our last matchup of the day. And I think with that being said, it's time to get into our first series of the day. It's Judgment Day for these teams, but the power is firmly planted in their hands. And first up to the chopping block, none other than Endpoint and Heroic. Will the Danes prevail, or will the UK lads bring it home? Find out after this.